One. Good evening, everyone. Erev Tov. My name is Dror Gershoni, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the JCC. So on behalf of the Michael and Russell Jewish Community Center, we want to welcome you to this special event. You know that this theater has been seeing lots of celebrities and famous, people, but we are so much more excited that we get to host our mishpucha, two incredible women that belongs to a family that is deeply rooted in this community and is deeply involved with everything that we're doing here and really represent the mission of the JCC. And we're so excited to have you here, Eileen and Joanna. And I want to say that there is another person that is here tonight. He's not here physically, but spiritually he's here, Avishai, Zichrono Livracha. And he's here, and he's watching you, and he's protecting you. So thank you so much for your willingness to share your story with us and with our amazing community. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Miriam, our amazing AB Adult Engagement Director.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Hub. The Hub was created to spark connection, creativity, and growth. It's a central place for adults and young professionals in our beloved community to learn, collaborate, and to be inspired. We offer 6 unique hubs: business, innovation, wellness, Israel, social, and cultural, filled with talks, workshops, and experiences that bring people together. I'm especially excited for tonight's event, and I didn't give up. This story is very close to my heart. Irene is incredible and passionate. And Joanna is not only a beautiful soul, she is one of my best friends and my travel buddy. Irene and Joanna are living examples to all of us of how to live life to the fullest, regardless of any challenges. Today is the United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities. And I want to add that disabilities can be transformed into superpowers. Tonight, we will all be witnesses to the strength, beauty, and resilience of these 2 remarkable women. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage Kiki Garcia Montes, reporter from Univision's Primer Impacto.
Hi, like Miriam said, I'm Kiki Garcia Montes from the Univision Network, and I am truly delighted to be here today to introduce you to 2 extraordinary women, Irene and Joanna. I first stepped into this story, a story of heartbreaking tragedy and a victory against all odds, when my mutual friend, Tammy Waldenberg, recommended me to Irene to help edit her book, the very book that all of you now are holding in your hands. Their journey moved me so deeply, so powerfully, that I later produced a full-feature story for Primer Impacto, the television show where I work. It's a story that stays with you and changes you. Today, you will meet Joanna, who, paraphrasing that famous line, is quite literally the girl who lived. And you will meet Irene, the author of I Didn't Give Up, the mother who carried Joanna until Joanna could dance. But before you meet them and get them here on the stage, let's take a moment to witness where it all began, and if we can roll the story that takes us back to 2012. Joanna no debería de poder caminar, manejar un auto o hacer ejercicio. Realmente esta joven está viva contra todo pronóstico médico, porque el 7 de mayo del 2003, Joanna cayó en un coma profundo, del que no debería haber regresado.
No había nada de Joanna, no se sabía ni siquiera si su alma estaba ahí.
El minuto que le cambió la vida a una joven sana, llena de vida y con un extraordinario don para la danza, comenzó con una simple operación de sinusitis. La intervención fue un éxito, pero en la sala de recuperación, al desentubarla, se produjo un edema pulmonar.
Al producirse esto, entra agua a los pulmones y estuvo asfixiándose por 1 hora 35 minutos.
La falta de oxígeno le provocó un ataque cerebral masivo. El fin parecía inminente. Cadenas de oración se formaron desde Miami a Jerusalén. Milagrosamente, 3 semanas después, Joanna emergió del estado de coma para enfrentar una realidad dramática. El lado izquierdo de su cuerpo había quedado paralizado y su mente estaba afectada.
Estaba en shock. Me puse a llorar. Yo sentía, pero lo que a mí me pasó solo le pasa a gente mayor, porque a mí a los 19 años, ¿qué hice? ¿Qué pasó?
No podía entender una historia de un niño de 3er grado de primaria. Nunca más iba a poder bailar.
Pero la ciencia no contaba con su férrea voluntad. Joanna jamás perdió la sonrisa. Logró levantarse de la silla de ruedas y volvió a dar ese primer paso.
Pero eran pocos pasos hacia mi mamá y era, no sé cómo explicar, un feeling así de, oh my gosh. Primero puse un pie, después puse el otro pie.
Un año después, regresó a la Universidad de Miami para graduarse de estudios judaicos y recobró totalmente su independencia cuando, contra todo pronóstico, volvió a ponerse al volante de un auto. Pero al alma de Joanna aún le faltaba algo.
Yo iba a bailar, como sea lo que tenía que hacer, yo a mi grupo de baile de Mshech, yo regresaba y nada me iba a parar de ahí.
Nadie que presenció este baile olvidará jamás este momento. El círculo marca cuál es Joanna, porque a simple vista no se diferencia de las demás bailarinas.
Todas tenían cubierto el brazo izquierdo de blanco y la coreografía todas usaron solamente el brazo derecho, pero tú no notabas impedimento en ninguna.
Irene, quien no se separó un minuto de su hija durante esos largos años, fue plasmando esta extraordinaria historia en el libro Y no me di por vencida, y quiere que sirva para dar aliento a personas que se encuentran en situaciones extremas y enviar el mensaje de que no se puede poner fecha límite a las esperanzas de recuperación.
Los seguros médicos, desgraciadamente, y muchas veces los doctores, creen que la terapia termina después de 2 años y que el cerebro ya no avanza más. Pero Joanna recuperó al 3er año. Eso fue lo que me hizo sentarme a escribir. Yo quería que afuera se sepa que con el cerebro no hay reglas.
Hoy Joanna sigue bailando y trabaja como maestra de preescolar.
Joanna tiene cualidades que cualquier director de escuela de preescolar quisiera que sus maestras tuvieran. Llena de energía, ganas de trabajar, ganas de aprender.
Y esta joven logró transformar un minuto de tragedia en una vida de esperanza.
No sé por qué me tuvo que pasar o qué tengo que hacer especial, que por eso estoy acá. Pero estoy acá.
Back a little bit, and then we're going to be talking about emotions and premonitions and lessons learned during this very hard but triumphant. I mean, there's a little bit of both. Okay, so we are going to take turns, and we're going to start with Irene. You told me, and you know, not everything fits during one story, that you had a premonition, that you had an intuition, that maybe nowadays we are a little bit more used to listening to that inner voice, but back then you didn't. Tell me what were the red flags, the things that you were living through it and telling you this is not the time or this is not the place.
The week, this is so loud. First time with a microphone. The week before the surgery, I started having this thing in my stomach that was, I don't know even how to describe it. I started reading Tehillim. I started praying. I didn't know, something was not right. So I was saying, I want to change this surgery. First of all, it was gonna be the 6th of May in another hospital. And 2 days before, they called me and changed the date. And they changed the place. So here I was with this something in my stomach, and I said, I want to stop the surgery. I don't want this surgery. And they were telling me, you and your things, you know, Bobe Mainses. So
So she went into surgery.
what happened is that Joanna also had it. And the night before, she started crying and called her friend Jackie Ryder and told her, Jackie, something is gonna go wrong. I feel it. Something is gonna go wrong.
And now you tell me that there was one time when Joanna is still in surgery, that was the first thing that you realize something is very wrong, and that happened when you were going up. You went to
For
get
a
a coffee,
coffee.
and you go up in the elevator.
We met the anesthesiologist the day before, a very renowned anesthesiologist. That's what we thought. And
And you thought he was going to go through the whole surgery with you, with your daughter.
yeah.
You expected
it. I went to take coffee, and all of a sudden in the elevator, who is there? The anesthesiologist. And I told her, but what are you doing here? You are supposed to be in surgery. And he told me, you know, it's like when an airplane, when the pilot leaves the plane to the co-pilot. I have left my co-pilot in charge. So that's when I was already feeling even worse. There was something that I didn't like.
Then Joanna goes into this whole problem with the breathing, and they take forever to really react to the problem.
Yes, once she was inside, I wanted to see her because the surgeon came out and said, she's gonna come out in 1 hour, you can go home. The surgery went perfect. She woke up. She passed all the tests. When she wakes up, she talked, she everything. So then they didn't let me in, and nobody was coming. And I was waiting and waiting. And then the anesthesiologist came and said, she's having something in the lungs. Maybe she will stay here overnight, and then she can go home tomorrow. Still asking, can I go in? No. But that time, it was already 6 p.m. At 3 was the surgery ended. So then, while waiting there, my husband, Avi, and me, we were already very, very nervous. And then, I remember this like yesterday. I saw Benny Roop coming straight on the side. He knocked into the wall, tied his shoe, and went inside. When I saw this, I thought, now I really know something is going bad. So then I tried to enter again, and the lady tells me, no, you cannot enter. And I said, why? I want to see my daughter. Because there's a patient inside that it's really, really bad. And that's when I realized it was my daughter.
Joanna spent weeks in a coma.
But before the coma, she was very bad in this hospital. Late at night, she was transferred to Children's Hospital, where when she entered, they asked me, have you noticed anything in Joanna? And I said, yes, I think she was not moving the left side, but there was commotion, the tubes, the this, and she telling me, Mommy, I don't feel well. So I went to the other side, and the doctor tells me, you were right. We think she has had a stroke. We are taking her right now to a CAT scan or MRI. And that's when I turned into my mom and started crying and telling her, this cannot be happening. Joanna cannot have a stroke.
So Joanna is in a coma, your whole world is upside down, but you tell me that your faith played such a huge role Tell me what happened. I mean, you weren't really alone.
While in the children's hospital, there were lots of people there waiting and in the lobbies and praying and Tehillim. It was unbelievable. From Hillel, from JCC, the community, friends, friends from all of us. It was something, rabbis, I can't even describe what this was. And you have to remind me that.
No, you were doing something, to me, it was so moving and so powerful because you were telling me that there was one song that you had to read to Joanna out loud.
I was reading Psalm 20 all the time next to her bed, but that's because when Joanna entered the hospital they gave us a room and we were sleeping in the floor. My daughter Dania. Here are my kids, Dania and Rudy.
But tell them why the 20 was important.
And my other son and daughter. So why am I telling this? Because it was a couple of days before Mother's Day, and on Mother's Day, the surgeon and the doctor, the top of the line in Children's Hospital, come and tells us in this little bedroom, there's nothing else that we can do for Joanna. Scientifically, we have done everything in our power. Now, it is from Joanna and God if she decides to come back. And this was my Mother's Day. So then I went inside to her bed, and I didn't stand up, and praying my Tehillim, especially number 20. And it happens that number 20 has to do with this type of situations, more or less, and it talks about the horses, and like when something is going on, there's a more powerful, if you understand that sound.
And also because she was 19.
And she was 19. So number 20 exactly was describing what was going on with Joanna.
And
not describing the stroke and what was going on, but it really had to do with those type of situations.
And she had to make it to 20.
And she
It
had
was a
to
way to
make
tell
it
in the universe that she had to live to turn 20.
to turn 20.
Joanna was the oldest, so she had all the first, the walk, the talk. But we heard Joanna expressing the emotion when she took that first walk, but we haven't heard you. That first step in the hospital.
It was, I cannot even describe it, because she was transferred, first of all, at Children's Hospital. After that day in the morning, and after me praying, the doctor came back at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and said, Joanna is doing a little bit better. And I hold on to those words and just pray, and the Torah came to the hospital, and one of the days that we were entering and going in and out, Dani and me were walking, and when we entered her room, we saw all the doctors around her and doing heart. Yeah, that. So then I ran and I went to the floor, and I really felt that I was losing my daughter. I can't even explain the emptiness. And then we asked, so we saw that you were reviving her. This was not the first time. We have revived her 4 times. So
now, seeing her take that first step again.
So from children's, with not being able to move the head and being nothing, we were told in children's that she was going to be blind, that she wasn't going to be able to walk, that she wasn't going to be able to move maybe no part of her body, and forget about dancing. a dancer in the front. Couple days after, Festival Yahat was coming at the Broward Performing Arts, and she had rehearsed for that day. And 1 year of full scholarship in UM. So when she passed to Baptist, she was really a mess. She was like this on the chair. She couldn't stand her head. So she arrived to the Baptist hospital, and then there she had really, really extreme therapy. Joanna is gonna get into that part. By then, she was already awake. But before that, my mind again.
We're going about talking, you know. The first, when
The
you
first-
realized that she was coming back.
Okay, so for that to happen, Joanna had to undergo lots of therapy, lots from her part. And when she took those steps, it felt like when Avi and me were in Lima in our apartment, and Joanna was 1 year of age, and then Avi was there, and I was here, and Avi was sending Joanna to me, and I was, Joanna, come, and she did her first steps. And this is what I remember. And I had even more, because at this time, Joanna could remember her previous life, and then waking up, realizing that she couldn't move her left side. That was terrible. And at that moment, when she woke up at Children's Hospital, and she realized that, and then she's gonna also talk about it, I don't know how, but I told her, Joanna, you're gonna be independent. I promise you that you're gonna be independent.
Okay. The caretakers, the family, the people that get forgotten when such a tragedy happens. What do you say to the caretakers, to the people? How do you do it?
First of all, it's so important for the family to be united. In our case, thank God, Avi, me, Dani, and Rudy were like this. Joanna was 19, Dania was 18, and Rudy was 14. And Dania had to pass to be Rudy's mother. So I couldn't focus on anything except taking care of Joanna. Not my house, not my husband, not my other kids. I knew that if I left Joanna even for 1 minute, I will be taking the energy out from her. And I just wanted to make sure that I was there with her. But when people take care of a family member, it's not like when somebody is paid for that job. No, and in this case, it was not a job. It was my daughter. I wanted to do it. But let me tell you, everybody goes towards the person who is sick, and they forget that the caregiver also needs a lot of attention, and that the caregiver gets tired. And I took care of Joanna for 3 years or more, non-stop. I didn't leave the Children's or the Baptist Hospital. I slept there 2 months, 1 month in Children's and 1 month in Baptist, because I wanted to be next to her all the way. But I was exhausted. I really was exhausted.
The book. When I got my hands on that book, it was a brick. It was so much that more that I did was to cut. What made you write it? What made you sit down and say, this has to be told?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Kiki,
You're welcome.
because I respect her so much. When I sat with her and told her about this book and told her my whole story, she was almost in tears. And then I said, I want to see if you can edit my book. Tammy Gruenwurzel sent me to you, but I don't want you to change my voice at all. You can read it, you can move things, you can do this and that, but really, you can tell them.
Yeah, I was good, I didn't change it, but why? Why did you sit down and write a person that have never done this before? What motivated you? What is the message that you want everybody that is here and everybody that is reading the book or read it back then? What is the message that you want to send them?
I was, for all those years in therapy, with mothers, fathers that were suffering so much. I had a metamorphosis. After that, I couldn't come back at all to the life that I had prior. So I saw so many things, and with the insurances, and so much pain, and it was terrible. While Joanna was inside, I was outside seeing all this pain. So when she started to get to be better and was independent, she was already driving. This happened 2003. I started the book in 2006 and went back all the way up. And it's so big because it took me 5 years. Every time I wanted to finish the book, something else happened that I wanted to write about it. Besides that, I wanted, if even one person would have been beneficiated
Works the same, yeah.
by the book, I will be very, very happy knowing that at least my words are able to come to people that don't know what happened with people with disabilities. Sometimes, a lot of times, they don't respect them. They have to learn many things. Joanna's turn is now. And when I finished, when I was writing it, everything was clear in my mind. Every memory, everything so vivid. It's a true story, all the names, everything is true. When I finished, I felt catharsis. I didn't do it for that reason, but really it happened. And then after, I started forgetting and having post-traumatic stress and not remembering things as well as before.
But I think that's part of the healing.
That's part of the healing.
The brain, the human brain is designed to forget. If not, everybody will be a walking wounded. So
Also,
you are in a different place today than when I met you.
Now I'm completely in another place because I decided to be strong. I decided to make it. I decided to do it for my kids, my grandkids, for Joanna, for my friends. I needed to be again me, especially after Avi passed. And now, since October, I feel finally content. I feel relaxed. I feel in peace. And I just want all of you to be aware when you go to a surgery that this can happen to anybody. Everybody has problems and everybody has things that happen to them. I just want to share this because it was really a tragedy. And we came out of that tragedy, but please, when you go to a surgery, look for the best surgeon and ask for the anesthesiologist because we tend to only talk to the surgeon. The surgeon has to be, and what about the anesthesiologist and the recovery room? And even so, things can still happen.
Things can go wrong.
Things can go wrong.
Joanna. Yes.
She's gonna ask.
I am going to ask. Yeah, that is why I have a microphone.
I mean, I could talk. You want me to talk? I'll just start talking. But
I
Okay.
want to finish saying that I adore my daughter. That I think she's the best. She's a walking miracle. And that I couldn't have made it without Dania and Rudy.
And the dog. And the dog.
The cover of my
the
book
dog.
was done by my dear daughter Dania.
Okay, Joanna. Okay.
the website
No,
was
no, no,
done
no,
by
I do
her
get it.
son, Rudy.
You also, okay.
The books were done in Peru with my husband and me, Avi.
Okay, Joanna, let's go back to what happened when you really understood. For all those weeks that you were in coma, you didn't know what was going on. The whole world was revolving around you, but take us back to that day.
I was in ICU for about a month and a half in an anesthesia-induced coma, so my body could heal and not suffer. Once I got better, I was transferred to a little room with medicine hanging everywhere, all over, tubes everywhere. And at one time, a doctor wanted to speak with my parents, and my aunt, Renate, was with me in the room. And she's the one that told me that I had my stroke. And I was in shock. Why? I'm so young. Why did I have a stroke? And I didn't really think I had a stroke. I wanted to get up out of bed and go dance Café Mshech. I was ready to go dance. I thought I could walk and move. And then my aunt told me what happened. And slowly, slowly, I realized my head, it weighed like a bowling ball. And I couldn't hold up my head. And I couldn't move. And everything was heavy. And so I said, it's okay. I'm alive and I'm healthy. So I can move on. Now, I did have post-traumatic stress disorder, don't get me wrong. When I was scared with the post-traumatic stress, my neuropsychologist, one of the many therapists I needed, he took away my post-traumatic stress with one word. Joanna, what are you worried about? You've just had the $1 million checkup. I've been checked up by doctors in Miami Children's. Then Baptist decided to do the same tests all over again, and I passed them. So I'm good. They're saying I'm good, fine. So I'm not gonna be worried. I'm not gonna have post-traumatic stress. Does that mean I'm okay? No, I have my ups and downs all the time because the struggles, they hit you like a wave. Sometimes you think it's okay, and then you realize you can't do something. I couldn't. When I started, when I woke up, I could speak English. It was hard. I didn't have the lung capacity. Spanish was easier, and I could speak Hebrew. No, I graduated from Hillel. Hillel did a good job. I work there now for 16 years, so it's not like I'm promoting it, but we did good. The Hebrew, I started forgetting a little after. But then my mom and me, we go to Baptist, and they say, Joanna, we'll need speech therapy. And my mom's like, but she's talking. She can even talk in Hebrew. We didn't know. And so then the speech therapist, just wait. And he tells me, he brings a paper of a picture of little kids and a tree. I'm telling how I remember it, thank you. So he tells me, what do you see? There are kids in a kitchen playing. Do you see anything else? He asks me. His name was Joe. And I said, no. I didn't see that the kids were climbing on a counter, grabbing plates from a cabinet that were falling. The water was on and it was overflowing. I didn't see any of the details. One red flag. Okay, but I couldn't analyze it, you know? It's like my mom said, Interesting, something's there. Then he asks me to start writing. Can you please write your name? And my mom's like, of course she can write her name.
He didn't say, I was thinking it.
Bueno, I'm thinking, you're thinking in my brain. I'm
So not
you're-
needed here.
okay? You're in my brain, I'm in your
please.
brain. So
Irene, give me that
behind me.
microphone. Give me that microphone. Thank
Very
you.
good. Time out, mommy. So, it's my turn. So, as I was saying, my mom is thinking in her brain. She's standing behind me. Picture it, okay? You know my mother. And so she's thinking, pero ¿por qué le está pidiendo? Ella puede hacer eso. No hay ningún problema, okay? And all of a sudden, he asks me to write my name. And I started writing up to down my name. I didn't start writing from left to right. And then he asked me to read. And I couldn't read. And then he asked me what was 2 plus 2. And I didn't know. I couldn't see numbers in my head. I couldn't count, add, tell time. I didn't know anymore how to play rummy cube, dominoes, how to be social. I had to relearn how to get dressed. And they put on these stockings. You know, the special stockings so you don't get clots. You know, people, when you go to the hospital, they put these special socks on you. Think about it. The therapy in Baptist, everything is a therapy. Everything. They get you out of bed, therapy, how to brush your teeth, how to get dressed, how to brush your hair, how to put on your makeup, how to tie your shoes, how to cook, how to fold. Everything is a work. But I hated bath time, shower time. The nurse is there. Please take off your clothes. And I'm there with my one hand, and it's not strong yet. And it takes me, and I'm sweating over half an hour to take out one stocking. And then to do it again, and then to get dressed. By the time you finish getting dressed, you're supposed to be clean, I'm already sweating. From taking off the stuff, then showering to be clean, and then sweating to put it back on. So it's a lot of work, and your head. Guys, you know when babies have to do tummy time to work on their neck muscles, you better make sure your grandchildren and other people that you have do tummy time, because your head is so heavy like a bowling ball. You can't hold it up. It hurts. It's a lot of work to strengthen your muscles. Then, while I'm in therapy, again, remember, everything is therapy there. They have the brilliant idea, my therapists. You know those round little spinny chairs that the therapists use? You know, the round circle, and they have wheels. Brilliant idea, my therapist, my physical therapist, Parvane. Okay, Joanna, you're gonna go from your room, 1080 West Pod. I had a private room, beautiful, view of the lake. There were ducks. I was a duck, I became a duck. That was a dream of mine. And she told me, okay, Joanna, you're going to go from your room to the therapy lab in this chair, scooting yourself. Really? Yeah, go. Really? Took me half an hour. Scooting. Why? To get my calves stronger. Now, granted, this happened 20 years ago. Do I remember everything? Yes. Do I feel everything? Yes. Have I improved? Yes. Do I still have deficits? Yes. My students, they can see my differences, but they don't care. So I can be me. I feel like I can be me. People my age, adults, don't see my disability. And because of that, I have to always defend myself or explain myself, and I don't feel like I can be me. I had stories that happened to me in the university. I always wanted to be a teacher. Ever since I was little, Remember, Danya, we had the dolls, the American Girl dolls, and we had the Encyclopedia Britannica, remember? And we gave our dolls tests based on the encyclopedia. They carried backpacks with books, remember? And you bathed them, remember? So I knew, luckily, that I knew. A lot of other things in my life, I don't know. I never know what to get dressed. I get anxiety from that. Right, Danya? Yeah. But I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I love kids. Do I have some? No. But you people are not doing a good job of finding me a husband. So if you have a nephew, a grandson, a cousin, a neighbor, you know, I'm available. Because I've already been proposed to 3 times by my students. And they are 6 years old. So maybe you guys can help me with this because I'm getting older, you know? So please, you know my name. On another note, when I was in university and I was doing my field experience, you know, you have to study before and have practice before. And the teacher of this public school goes and says, "You're not gonna ever be able to be a teacher because you don't know how to tie children's shoes." Because she was telling me to tie the students' shoes. And I said, "I'm sorry, I can't." She asked me again, in front of all the other students and the little students, like the university students and little students. I said, "I can't." Until one of the other students said, "Mrs., don't you see that she can't use the left side of her body? She needs some help." Then another one said, "I could never be a teacher because my voice isn't loud enough." Let me tell you, I could be a teacher without talking. I just look. And I laugh and I joke with the students, and I learned how to tie shoes. I use my left hand to help my right. And I was taught most important lesson in therapy: in order to be independent, whatever you can't do on your own, you ask others for help. And that's how you are independent. And I teach my students this every day, that it's okay to ask for help. Don't be scared. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. Sometimes students are so scared to make mistakes, and I tell them, "What, when you came out of your mommy's tummy, you started walking?" They start laughing. "You crawled, you fell, you stood, you fell, you walk, you fall. Mistakes, learn, mistakes, learn." So I give my students the comfort that it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them, to tell the truth always, take responsibility for your actions, and whatever you can't do, ask someone to help you, and that's okay to do.
Joanna. And the last soundbite on the story, you told me I didn't.
But do you need anything else, or can I continue with her?
Then no, we're going to open to questions.
Okay,
and
fine.
before I open to questions, you told me you didn't know why you were still here.
I still
Have you
don't
figured it out?
I still don't know, and I still don't have a husband.
Okay, please, before we go into the dating game, find this woman a date. Okay, is everybody ready for questions? Can I safely give you back your
No,
microphone?
but they're not good enough. No, the men nowadays are starting to act like women and not like gentlemen.
Okay.
Ask the dating people. Now, ask the single people. It's true.
Me fío de ti, te lo doy. Okay, questions. Does anybody have a question? Does anybody want? I'll go and bring the microphone.
It's Mr. Milgram. That's his name, Mr. Milgram.
Who wants to ask a question?
That's Mr. Milgram.
Mr. Milgram, here I am. You may have to fight Irene for airtime.
Thank you. You can also call me Nathan.
Nah, Mr. Milgram's more professional.
Something I mean, first of all, I have to say, this is such a moving and inspirational story. And I really appreciate that you gave us all the opportunity to really learn from it and get inspired. My question is, I always wonder, someone like yourself, where do you get the positivity, the thirst for life, and the impetus to be able to move forward through all the challenges that you had? Is it something that it was always natural to you, came naturally to you, or is it something that you learned in by trial by fire and had to develop?
When you are born without disabilities or anything, you're born, a lot of people take things for granted. You can move an arm, you can move, you can dance, you could sit, you can walk. When this happened to me, my mentality and the way I look at the world is more of a miracle. Everything we do is a miracle and amazing. So being able to walk, read, move, eat, everything you do comes from your brain. So I appreciate, instead of, watching what people wear, the fashion, I look how they walk, how their body moves. And now I really, really feel that having babies, when women give birth, it is a real miracle. It's amazing. You are making another person inside another person. So I only have one life to live. This is my life. So I have to live it.
Joanna, did you feel that when you were in a coma, did you feel that you were somewhere else, or did you separate? Did you see a light? Did you float? Did you anything? Did you ever feel that you were like floating?
I had dreams. It's when I became a duck. One of my dreams, the doctors told me that my stomach wasn't working, and the duck has the most similar stomach to us. So they had to take out my stomach and give me a duck stomach. And there was a whole surgeon wearing, the ducktails, remember? The ducktails, the person wears that cape. That was my doctor. And he gave me a duck stomach. And I was reading the Gomel while they're putting the stomach inside of me. And then when I woke up, what did I tell you, Rudy and Danya? What did I tell you?
She said she was a duck and she would go around quacking at all the ducks in Baptist Hospital.
There were ducks in the Baptist Hospital.
So I was so excited because plus, have you guys gone to Baptist Hospital in Kendall, North Kendall Drive, 88th, in the middle of nowhere down south? It looks like a Ritz-Carlton. It's beautiful. It doesn't look like a hospital. It looks like a vacation. It's not, but it's a hospital, but it's beautiful. In front of the hospital is a pond. And you can walk around there. And there are ducks. And before I could walk, in between my therapy sessions, while I'm still sweating before I had to take a shower and sweat again, I'd have my walk around the pond. And they would walk. And I would go up to the ducks, and I would sing to the ducks, and the ducks would shake and dance for me. So it was like my parents think I had an aha moment that I knew I was going to be with the ducks in this hospital. Now, I love that hospital. They taught me to be where I am today. But that hospital, the genius of those people, 4th of July, picture it. 4th of July, we watch fireworks, right? The brilliance of the people in Baptist Hospital decided to shoot fireworks from the roof of the hospital. And we invited the family, remember Mimi? And we had a barbecue there. We were all together to watch the fireworks. Everything was lovely until the fireworks went off. and the fireworks were in my brain, in my heart. I thought I was gonna explode. They were so close to me. Since then, I had to get desensitized to fireworks. I still jump sometimes, like little kids, and get scared, but I learned to cope with it little by little, because it's so strong and so powerful, you can feel it. So, remind hospitals not to throw fireworks from their roofs, okay?
In response to your question,
So, I became
maybe
a
I can
doc.
respond to your question.
No.
Joanna was given anesthesia, a certain medication, so she doesn't remember anything at all. Nothing. So even if she saw a light or whatever, wherever she was when she decided to come back, we all thought that she was talking fluent Hebrew. But right now, if she would have seen something, she will not remember.
But I'm a duck.
So my question is, I know you said you saw the anesthesiologist in the elevator. Do you think, or were they able to explain to you, was this malpraxis or what happened? What's the explanation?
Thank God, in a sense, for this, because if I wouldn't have encountered him, the lawyers wouldn't have been able to know that there was really a medical mishap and from where was it coming. The lawyers give me the complete papers and writings from the hospital where it happens, in detail. I couldn't go out of my house. I think for 1 week or 2 weeks, I had them because I wanted
Who
to
found
be
the lawyers?
Un ratito. So, so when I told them that I encountered the anesthesiologist in the elevator, that's when they started thinking we have to dig from there, because nobody told us what was going on. No doctor. Avi and me tried, I think, like 5 lawyers, different offices of lawyers, and nobody wanted to take our case. Nobody. Until one day, this is what happened.
Very nice introduction. I'm going to doctors. You know, I have allergies. My
Jaime Landman.
students, yes, I know who it is. I got it. My students would tell you, they know I'm allergic to cockroaches and rabbits, and they have to wash their hands if they pet them when the petting zoo comes for Noach, you know. I'm in the waiting room waiting, and I'm now in UM, so you know I'm a Canes fan. And there's a magazine, you know, back in the day, people, you know, really used to look through magazines as patients instead of their phones, remember? So they had a UM magazine there, and I'm like, oh, it's UM, it's interesting. I start looking through the magazine. In the magazine, it's talking about a case of a girl from Jackson Hospital that had a stroke at 19 after heart surgery. And I start reading the whole article. I end up taking the whole book with me. I asked permission. And in the article, it mentions the lawyers, Gary Fox and Stephen Kane. And my parents reached out to them and they said, no, no, no. And then my dad and my mom told them, can you please just listen to us and maybe meet Joanna? So they did. And so because of that, they decided to take my case. And because doctors here, they all, you know, protect each other, they had to, these lawyers now, my friends, they had to send out my case to another state to get, you know, doctors that are not necessarily involved. And that's where they found out that what happened to me was they took out the anesthesia tube too fast from my trachea, and my trachea collapsed. So it closed, it shut. So that's why I was asphyxiating for an hour and a half. And the doctors and the recovery team thought that I was having a panic attack because I was going to the surgery nervous and scared, because I'm scared of a lot of things. And so it took them a long time to figure that out. And then these doctors figured out it was negative pressure pulmonary edema, not properly treated. Because if I was intubated again and they would have taken control of my breathing, this wouldn't have happened.
A negative pressure pulmonary edema can be deadly if it's not, si no lo encuentran al momento. If they don't catch it right at that moment. So really it's a miracle that she has passed all of this, because in the books that I saw from that hospital that the lawyers gave me, it says exactly with time and everything, and she was not breathing properly for 1 hour and 35 minutes. So that's what caused not only the stroke. First was the lungs, the heart, and I think the kidneys at one point were also taken. So it was really, really a very, very hard case.
Anybody else has a question that we can pass the microphone?
Mr. Milgram, aren't you glad I also was one of your kids' teachers? I did a good job. Leah Milgram, love her.
My question is this: when we're sitting here and we're listening to your story and we're seeing you, I come back to, we see someone who's really inspiring, someone to look up to, someone who's incredibly strong. Question is, how do you see yourself after overcoming all these challenges?
I don't feel it, and I don't see it all the time. I have my ups and downs. I've been really down in the summer and stuff. And I need to live with a psychologist, my best friends.
By the way,
No,
I'm going to forget
middle of-
Stephanie Dargos. I wanted to mention Stephanie Dargos because she's an extraordinary psychologist, and it's, if not, I'm going to forget.
Stephanie Dargoltz is.
No,
Stephanie
I'm going to
Dargoltz
forget
is here.
that I
You know who
wanted
she
to say
is.
this. Yeah, please. Because Stephanie wrote the appendix in the book, and there's a whole thing from the psychological standpoint. I have to interrupt, sorry, but if not, I forget.
Just in case, Stephanie, I met Stephanie first. Getting off the bus from school, Stephanie has my sister's same birthday, January 29th. So I have Stephanie Dargoltz is also my sister, my go-to person, and she helps me and is there for me day or night, whatever I need. She has helped me out of emotional crises, not once, twice, but many times. And I feel, and she understands me, and she sees me, and she hears me. I had a crisis in the summer. She directed me to my psychologist now that is helping me. So, Stefa, my sister. Amparo and Richie, thank you for making Stephanie. And Simone, don't forget.
What is really important when you are passing something like this, whatever it is, everybody has problems, is to look for help. Go to a psychologist. Emotional part is very important. That's what was worrying me more from Joanna. How was she gonna be with all of this? And at one point in the house, when she came back for the first time, and now with this, and she walked out from the house feeling perfect, only the nose. And she embraced me and she said, "Mommy, I don't want to live anymore like this." And at that time, I had to react fast, and I don't know how I told her, Joanna, you're going to dance again. And that's how we started with Roger. I called Roger immediately, Dania, who was in Rome, and she couldn't even stand up from the floor, so that was really, really tough to do. But she's dancing, and in the theater.
And you want to know something? Remember I told you guys when I had my stroke, I was learning how to dance Café Mshech? That I wasn't able to dance it because I had this? This year, we're redoing it. And I'm finally going to get my chance to dance Café Mshech. It's a big deal for me. I've been waiting 21 years. So if you would like to see me have a dream come true, you can join me Festival Yachad, May 2026.
At the Broward Performing Arts.
You're invited, Irene. We dance together, Irene and Barbie and Ev and Danny. We're dancers. There's Mshech, my people. These are my Arcada people. I have my doctor people. And I have my therapy people. And I have co-worker people. And I have parents that gave me the best students ever. Everyone's here. Anything else? You can ask me for my phone number if you forget. I could text you back during work school hours. I'm not available because I have to educate the kids, you know, but later, yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
מזמור לתודה, הריעו להשם כל הארץ, עבדו את השם בשמחה, בואו לפניו ברננה.
Hello, hello. Okay, please join everyone. Irene, after the picture, she will be signing books in the right side of the theater, over here. Thank you so much for joining us.
ולא אנחנו עמו וצאן מרעיתו, עמו וצאן מרעיתו. בואו שעריו בתודה, חצרותיו תהילה, הודו לו, ברכו שמו, כי טוב השם לעולם חסדו, ועד דור ודור אמונתו. מזמור לתודה, הריעו להשם כל הארץ, עבדו את השם בשמחה, בואו לפניו ברננה. דעו כי השם הוא אלוהים, הוא עשנו ולא אנחנו, עמו וצאן מרעיתו. בואו שעריו בתודה, חצרותיו השמות, כי טוב השם לעולם חסדו, ועד דור ודור אמונתו. אני לא אסתיר, אני מפחד להעביר את החיים האלה בשינה. חיים זורמים פה לידי, מרגיש כמו על היבש, גוף בלי נשמה. מסך דולק, אני כבוי, כלוא בתוך דמיון אסיר בלי חנינה. ואיך אפשר לתפוס את האמונה בשתי ידיים? כי בלעדייך אין לי כלום, לאן יש לי ללכת? כשחשוך את בתוכי דולקת, עוגן לסירה קטנה בלב הסערה. אחרי כל השברים את נחמה שנשארה. אני מפחד ממחשבה שהחיים זה בסך הכל משחק של הישרדות. אני מפחד ממחשבה שאתבגר ואנעל בתוך קופסה את התום של הילדות. אני רוצה להתמקד במשפחה, בחיים פשוטים ומלאים שמחה, ללמוד אותך, להתמסר תמיד עלייך, כי בלעדייך אין לי כלום, לאן יש לי ללכת? כשחשוך את בתוכי דולקת,